Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Harmonious Engineering Let's Play series. So today I've got a lot planned. I've kind of got a couple of things in the works, a couple of things that I wanted to show off as well. So we do have a pack update, 3.1.7, integrated a new version of V-Tweaks that I backported some changes from. So now we can enchant in the anvil for a fixed cost to get the Fortune 1, 2, or 3 or Silk Touch on a drill core. The the implementation of that wasn't too terrible to backport, so I'm really glad that I did, because now we have a lot of stuff available to us. I've gotten the crate from our pneumatic craft space, and I've brought it over here because I think it's just easier to have everything all in one place. Even though it would be nice to have access to it over there where we're probably going to use it the most, we end up backtracking back and forth anyway, so I think it just makes a little more sense to keep it all in roughly one place. Now, on that note, I do want to see about getting ourselves one last batch of speed upgrades. Let's see, we're going to need cane, and we'll go ahead and request everything else by force. And what I'm working towards here is to empty out this little tank here, because I want to upgrade to a tier 2 tank. And let's go ahead and request everything that we can. There we go. And this medium tank will hold 64 buckets of fluid. And the reason that I wanted to do that is so that we could consolidate all of our gasoline into one nicely sized that works. One nice sized fluid tank, because I can keep this around in my inventory, in my backpack here, and we can use that to refill our drill. So I'm trying to kind of come up with ways that we can continue to keep our drill up and running. That way we don't run into any issues of shortages or outages. And then we have been turning some of the kerosene from our setup over here into gasoline just by running it through the thermopneumatic processing plant. And we are now sitting on an excess of diesel. Diesel can be processed through the thermopneumatic processing plant to get us kerosene or lubricant. And lubricant is probably what I'm going to use it for, because you've seen already that lubricant is a very useful resource. The keen-eyed among you may also have noticed, but I have been doing some trading and some enchanting. I feel like that's a redundant lantern there. I don't think that's really necessary. So we have gotten mending on our sword. I ran out of emeralds to buy more mending books. I do want to get mending on my Fortune 3 pick, and I'm working on making a very nice axe here. And that is what I wanted to show next. So at this point we have, let me fill up the rest of the gasoline here from the output, and then we can, oh, this is slow. That was much faster earlier. And then let's see, gasoline is the third one up. This is how, this is how I've been shamefully getting all of my fluids out of here, is to just jump over. So you should be gasoline. We'll empty you out as well. And now we should have about 24 buckets of gasoline with us at all times to refill our drill. At this point, we just have to worry about the drill head durability, because we cannot just update that on the fly. You know, we have to sit down at an engineer's workbench and disassemble our drill a little bit to get that drill bit off, but that's okay. I think I'll take it for now. It's better than some of the alternatives. Now, there are some other things that I've been working on in parallel, and you know what? That lantern could have been really useful for, like, right there. So let me grab some fence posts. I've been raiding lanterns from that village that we were at last episode, just because, you know, we're not really using it all that much. Or they're not using them all that much, and they've got way too many, I've noticed. Like, some of those structures just have a hysterically overly obnoxiously large amount of lanterns. So we'll just do that. I think that'll help enough on its own. So over here, I have been processing up in the arc furnace, you just see it there, some more zinc. Oh, that's actually a lot of zinc. Awesome, good. So the reason I've been doing this is because today's episode, I plan on getting into the pneumatic craft power armor set. This is going to be a little complicated. We're going to still need a couple of things that we don't quite have yet, but that's okay. One last thing that I want to do is, for 16 levels, we can get a lumbering book, and lumbering is a V-Tweaks enchantment that allows us I think I'll just put it directly on this axe. I don't have any problems with this axe whatsoever. Lumbering will allow us to fell trees way faster than you would normally be able to fell trees. And that, you know, it's already really fast with HT Street Chop, but this will make it even faster, make it even easier to go refill up on wood or on other resources. So if we just shift and brake, the whole thing will come down. That bear has been moving from the beehive out here to the river. I think it got tired of trying to get honey and is now trying to get fish. I'm not really sure what its plan is for the fish, because, you know, you're not exactly swimming, my man. But, oh wait, no, you have fish. Disregard my snide comment. You are a successful bear. Good job. Good job. So, that's sort of a show-off of what lumbering can do for you. And what we'll do is we'll eventually make a second axe and transfer over that lumbering enchantment using anvil transfer. But for now, that just makes our lives a little bit easier for cutting down trees and for getting more resources. So, at this point, I'd like to look into a couple of things. I need to get more finished PCBs, and so to do that, remember, we're going to need to make ourselves more of the empty PCBs, which are done like so. So let's go ahead and get those things requested really quickly. We're going to need plastic. Let me add this recipe here. We're going to need 1 plastic, so let's do 2 of those. Let's do 4 sticks for 4 redstone torches. And we'll need 6 gold nuggets. Like so. Beautiful. And what we're going to do is we're going to take these and go ahead and start making up at least 1 more PCB, finished PCB. Ideally, I think we'll need 2. We're going to need 1 for a module expansion card for one of the things that I have planned this episode. And then the other will be we're going to need 4 for a full set of power armor. And then we're going to need that remaining 1 for that last little component for the module expansion cards. And you'll see what the module expansion cards do soon enough. And you know what I should have done? So I should have taken that speed upgrade and put it on the interface. So let me do that real quick. Let me get a couple of other things prepared because we have a lot of stuff to do this episode. Basically, in essence, I'm going to be overhauling our compression system. We're going to be implementing a couple of resources, hopefully, that will help, or implementing a couple of tools, really, not resources, from Pneumatic Craft that will hopefully help us. I don't know if we can afford them, but we're going to see. And then we're going to get ourselves a nice kitted out set of power armor because I'm frankly tired of just normal armor, and I think it'd be cool to have something a little more modular. But our empty PCBs are ready, so I'm going to go ahead and get these processing as well, and I'll be back in just a bit. Okay, so I'm still waiting for a couple of things to process. I quickly made up these module expansion cards, and now I'm going to be looking into making a rotational compressor. So the rotational compressor should look like a lot of things that we've already seen, but we're going to need to take some iron. I'm probably going to make 2 rotational compressors for now, and we're going to take these and go process them, and what we can do is turn rotational energy from create into compressed, or I guess pressure or bar in Pneumatic Craft. And so that will prove to be incredibly useful. And the thing that's been keeping us from doing this whole time is just we've been needing brass casing, which, as you can probably imagine, is going to require brass. So we have finally gotten that, and now we can go ahead and get the remainder of these materials done and get the rest of this crafted, because everything else here is pretty straightforward. One thing that Create does that I think you're probably already kind of inherently aware of if you haven't thought about it already, is Create allows you to generate pretty much every source of rotational energy is created at no long-term cost. So everything is renewable in Create, and I think that is definitely a fun and neat mechanic, but something else to remember because, you know, that's part of why all of these things have been put so far behind like brass is because it doesn't cost anything. This is renewable. That being said, that's exactly why I'm targeting it right now, is because I want to not have to constantly refill our system with more and more and more coal, because I need coal for a whole bunch of other things. In fact, that's the one thing that I'm constantly running short of. So we can now get a couple of our quest rewards here. That'll get us some rose quartz, which saves us a few pieces of quartz along the way. We will still need to polish it, but who cares? And if we roll back to the Andesite Age, for some reason I put this here in the quest line. I need to fix this because this is not... one would not make an air blower at this point. You would just use a fan. But I need to relocate that. So let me go ahead and get this guy done, and that will help us along and getting into the rest of the quest line completed. So taking a look at what we have left, we've got our propellers, we've got these. We're going to need, what was it, 4 in total? Let's see, what don't we have? Reinforced bricks. That should not be too bad. I think that's everything we need, right? We are short a cogwheel. That's okay. Let's go ahead and grab these 2. We are almost out of andesite alloy. That is kind of the scarier part here. Let's grab some planks and get those 2 missing cogwheels. And that will get us not 1, but 2 rotational compressors. So the reason we have the module expansion card is because of one of the components that I plan on using to auto shut this thing off. So we're going to produce some sort of rotational energy, which I'm going to do something different than the windmills. Or I might actually do something... Well, no, I'm going to do something different, though. I have a different plan. We're going to use our rotational energy to run the compressors, but I want them to turn off automatically, or else we're going to break our pipes. Either that, or we could use like the release valves, of course. But, you know, it does just kind of depend on how we choose to implement this. I think it'd be cooler to just do what I have in mind, which is to utilize a clutch. But that's just me. This guy is almost done. And you're doing okay on these things. So the rotational compressor requires a specific direction of flow, and requires, you can see on the sides that there is the output for air, for pressure rather. And so there are a couple of components still that we're going to need, but this is sort of the beginning. We are also going to need, oh good, this is done processing. Is there anything? There is, okay. That's okay. Let's see, void, unwanted in the input tank. Yes, perfect. I don't need those fluids that are in the input tank right now. What I want is to come over here and take our LPG and turn that into lubricant. So let us take a jerry can, because currently all my tanks are occupied. Let's grab this and turn it into did I say lubricant? I meant rubber. So what we'll do, oh goodness, plastic. So LPG will turn into plastic with coal, if I remember correctly. And then molten plastic is surprisingly helpful for us, and you'll see why in just a minute. 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put the molten plastic in there. And then the remainder of molten plastic will be okay too. That's not really a big deal to me. Oh, we're out of coal already. Okay. We'll steal some more from here. And what I'm working towards, if you aren't following along, because I'm not exactly doing a great job of making that clear, is I am currently working towards getting the current set of plastic converted over so that we can turn the molten plastic combined with the pressure tube to get better pressure tubes. So these have a max pressure of 5 bar. These have a max pressure of 10, which is much better. You are currently already hooked up to a pressure system, which is perfect. Now all I'm missing is a tank. So maybe we just go get another tank, because I don't think I have anything to really help us here. Yeah, I think we might just have to. Unless we wanted to dump the unwanted fluids in the input tank, we can do that. And then do this. Yeah, I think that works. And then what I'll do is I'll steal this speed upgrade and put it in, because this is going to take a little bit of time. And so now, as this takes its sweet time to make that, we'll be producing slightly better, not significantly better, but definitely slightly better. Hello? Oh, hello. I heard something, I just didn't see anything. We'll be producing slightly better pipes, or sorry, pressure tubes along the way. And that is, again, another one of those big components that I knew we were going to end up needing as we go. So, at this point, we still have a couple of things that we're going to need. I want to produce our rotational energy a little differently this time, and as soon as I search campfire, you're probably already going to know exactly what I'm going to make. Ooh, I don't want to use treated sticks. Kindly don't. We'll just do this. So the reason I want 9 campfires is that I'm going to be following along on a different quest now. Also in the create chapters somewhere. Let's see, we'll go ahead and claim our 11 nuggets of experience. In the brass age, I believe I put this. Yes, here we go. And so I'm going to create a steam engine, and I'm going to create 9 fluid tanks. So we're going to grab some copper. Let's grab 18 copper. And for you, we're just going to need a copper block. We're going to need more andesite alloy. So let's grab some of this and some andesite. Let's grab, whoops. I've got to get my flow back as far as getting used to the order of everything. So let's go ahead and try to get ourselves 9 of these create copper tanks. And I'm going to get more andesite alloy, and I will be back because at this point it's just a bunch of waiting. Alrighty, so I think I've got everything we need. I went ahead and processed up all of these reinforced tubes. We've got tons of them now, which is very exciting. So let's go ahead and get ourselves everything we need to get the barrels made. So I made a bunch of barrels previously, and that actually does come in handy for us here. Because what I can do is take 3 of those and take our copper plates that I put away that I probably shouldn't have. And we'll make 9 fluid tanks. So we have 9 campfires, 9 fluid tanks. We're also going to need a couple other things from Create. So maybe I should just go ahead and grab like a half a stack of copper ingots and turn them into plates, because I will need some fluid pipes. We're going to need a couple of other things. Oh, and we also need a brass sheet or 2. Probably just the 1. So let's get that in the pipeline as well, because we definitely have a lot going on at the moment. Okay, so this will get us a steam engine, and you can see that it can produce up to 1,024 RPM and up to 6,500 or 65,536 stress. That is a ton, and frankly, that's more than we're probably going to be able to use at first. That's okay though. Now we have some other quests that we've kind of been missing out on here. We're going to need to get like a mechanical pump. Let's go ahead and grab some of these and some of these, and then we can start to get ourselves some cogwheels, because the pump is going to be used to create a flow of fluids. I didn't realize that these only made 4. I don't know why. I thought they made way more than that. But the fluid pipes are going to be like part of Create's fluid movement. And so what we can do is move fluids around using Create. And of course we could just, nonchalantly scoot them around from one inventory to another, like from our coke oven into a tank, for example. But what we're going to do is we're going to suck water out of an infinite water source. So I'm going to grab a couple of sets of these ingredients. I don't think we're going to need really all that many. And what we can do from here is just combine that with one of these to get ourselves a mechanical pump. So the mechanical pump is, let's go ahead and claim all of our hard work here. The mechanical pump is just one of the components. The fluid valve is another. We don't really need the fluid valve. And I don't think we have an iron plate, so I'm just going to leave that one for now. We'll go back and claim that reward later. But we are going to need our hand crank. We're going to need shafts. So let's go ahead and grab those. We are going to need, if I have any other planks, I'll grab those. Okay, well, that's what we have. Let's grab spruce then. And what we can do is make up a handful of standard cogwheels and a handful of large cogwheels. And I think that should be good. So what we'll do from here, and this is where things are going to get pretty exciting, is we're going to create a sort of a starting suction, and then once things get moving, that suction will sort of progress on its own. So what I'm going to do is disassemble this, and remember, don't be like me. You can actually use your create wrench to do things. I'm going to leave this here to remind me to go clean up that water wheel. But what we can do is we can set up a 3x3 somewhere. I'm going to say probably over here would be probably a decent-ish spot. Maybe like right here. Of campfires, and then on top of this 3x3 of campfires, we are going to put a 3x3 of tanks. It does not have to be a 3x3 of tanks. This is a pretty flexible structure that I'm creating now, but what I'm trying to do is increase the surface area for heat to cause water to boil. So by increasing the surface area to 3x3, I think we're going to have a little bit better luck. Now we need a way to get water into here, and so what I can do is I can put a tube or a pipe directly inside of our pump here, and what we can do here, let's actually scoot this down, is do something like this where we're going to have our fluids facing, you want this little arrow here to go the direction that you want water to flow or your fluid to flow, but what we can do is you can see that this is facing directly into the water, and I think just like this is all we need. So now we're just going to kickstart it, and I want to see if this is going to work exactly as I'm expecting. And if I want to rotate the flow of direction, all I have to do is just sneak to do so. So you can see that that's going to be pumping up water, and since it's an infinite water source, it'll just infinitely have water. So we filled up 928 millibuckets of water into this thing. That's not impressive, and that's also not sustainable because I'm going to have to sit here and continue this. So what we can do instead is hook up a steam engine to it. And so this now converted our entire system from a normal tank. Remember, it looked like this before, right? You can still see the water in there, and it says fluid container info. But as soon as we hook up a steam engine to it, and in fact, we might be able to do it out of the top. Now it says boiler status. Now we have a boiler. We're low on water. We're not doing great on size, but we have enough heat to at least do a little bit of water production, or to do a little bit of steam production. So what I'm going to do is, I think the best place for us to put our guy here would be right here, like so. And we can do the following. We can hook up, I have to remember exactly what the layout is, but we can hook up our, there we go. We can hook up our shaft like so to the steam engine, and it is going to use that steam to rotate. And so what we'll do is we'll send one length of this rotation over here to do this number. I'm trying to think if there's got to be a better way for me to do this. Let me think. Okay, this makes a lot more sense. I don't know why I didn't just do it like this. We could do one of two things. We could either, you can technically rotate rotational energy like so. So this would work. I don't know if that's going to rotate in the right direction, but we can test that out and try it. The other option as well is to just use a gearbox here instead. So let's try to get some water in here. I don't know if we're going to be kicking off with enough yet. We'll see. And so now this guy's going to get moving. You're going to keep on producing water. Looks like that is the right direction of flow. Awesome. And so now, I don't know how much water we are producing. It says water is 1 bar. But now we're producing 2048 stress. And we can change the rotation direction by just scroll wheeling over that spot, which I completely forgot about. But since this seems to be working, I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to leave this exactly as is. Now, the fun thing about boilers is if you can get them at high enough efficiency, you can add more and more and more steam engines, and the hotter the boiler is, the faster the steam engine is off the bat. So right now, that's 2048 SU that we're producing. For reference, I believe over here our water or our windmill is producing, I think, about the same. I frankly don't remember. 4,096 for this guy. So this guy over here is not very efficient, but it's running off of campfires. So what do you expect, you know? This is not meant to be the latest and greatest. It's not going to be the fastest thing in the West, but that is just kind of what we have. Now, we can also add multiple of these steam engines. So I'm curious to see if it's going to support that. I would like to try, because if we can hook up 2, then now we're going to be producing 4,096 stress, which is going to match that guy. And the bigger the boiler you have and the more efficient of a boiler you have, the more of those you can hook up. So I've had one on a testing server that had, I believe we ended up with 3 steam engines on it. So that's just part of the pretty much unlimited potential for this relatively dynamic energy source that you have here. Let's go ahead and grab that brass sheet. And now we can play with this a little bit and see if we can maybe get that a little faster for our rotational compressors, because these rotational compressors are going to be our savior. All right, so let's take a look and see if we can use another steam engine. Again, I have no idea if we're producing enough heat. I really don't think we are, but you don't know until you try. So this guy here will hook you up as well. Yeah, so we're not at all. So you can see that our stress production has halved by adding this other one. What's cool about this is we can now point this in several directions, but yeah, frankly, we're not keeping up nearly well enough. And actually, I could have figured that out for myself if I wasn't dumb. If you look at the boiler itself, it'll tell you at the very bottom, kinetic stress capacity is 2,048 stress units, and you can divide that up by several engines, but we are doing that all through this one engine. And I could do more, but I really don't think that we need it, because what I can do here is set up another shaft going out this way. And, you know, normally one might want to hide this kind of stuff, but I am trying to embrace the steampunkedness a little bit. So I will probably just do something like there are brackets, or middle brackets, these guys. I might try to make a couple of those and just sort of embrace the look here, because I personally like it quite a bit. We're also going to need to speed this up, and we're going to need to get a clutch. So let's go ahead and do those things real quickly. I think we may have to push the power armor to next episode just because of how long this one's already gotten. Let's go ahead and request that, and then we'll request that. And now we needed to get a clutch. So a clutch is pretty cool. I was gonna say, I think we're shy on andesite casing. Let's grab some more acacia and just turn all of these into whoops. We'll go and turn all of these into andesite casing. And when we do the clutch recipe, you'll be able to see, or when we create our clutch, basically what this is going to do is turn our rotational energy on or off based on if that clutch has received a redstone signal. So if we give it a redstone signal, it'll kill any of the rotation, and that will be good because that will be how we can turn off our compressors on a whim. So what we'll do is we'll use clutches, and we'll use, we'll need a gearbox. We'll need a chain drive. I think we'll need, probably just need the 2. And I've got everything else that I need to make the remainder. Let's make another gearbox just in case, because, you know, you never know. And that gives us, yep, okay, good. Okay, so with the metal brackets, we can kind of do a visual support for our create shaft, and then we can begin to speed things up underground a little bit and hide things with additional, what's the word? Additional bracings and additional casings. So I think something like this would look just fine. Then we'll go underground a little bit. And let me make sure you're in single block mode. Perfect. And the reason I wanted to go this low is because, again, we're going to do our speed up. And I don't remember, we're going to find out the hard way, I guess, but I don't remember how fast these need to go. Or how much stress these require to go fast enough. So we'll see if this is going to work. We may end up having to make a second boiler. We'll just see. I like that that connects. That looks good. And now you can still see a little bit of the bottom here. So I always like to put an extra andesite casing there just to sort of cover it up and seal it in. So with everything hooked up down here, we can once again rotate. Like so. And then I'm going to make our test setup down here for now, because I do not want to get too far into this and have any regrets about the configuration. So let's avoid that if we possibly can. You know, I would like to see if I can do this the compact way. Let's do this. We can also cover these, remember. So let's see if this works. I don't know that it will, but you never know. Okay, so that is going to be producing something. That's going to be too much. Okay, so you're going to use 1024 stress per for that. We could actually do that. We could actually do that. We just need to run our pump on a different speed. Okay, or on a different source. I think I can do that. Let me get the water wheels over here moved over here to run our pump for us. All right, so I got everything reconfigured using the water wheels, stepped all the way up to top speed, scooted over here to our mechanical pump. You can see the water flow is high. You can see our water has increased greatly, but our heat is now not matched up to our water. So you can see we're still producing the same amount of stress because, frankly, these are not all that hot. I don't know what the sources are for a boiler. If we look at W, we can probably figure that out. So this is called pondering. This allows us to view what kinds of things we can do and create. I know that there is the blaze burner, which would be the best bet for us, but it's just not. I don't think the blaze burners are quite accessible to us at this point. So we're just gonna have to deal with this, I think, and that's not too bad of a deal if you ask me. Anyway, so what we can do is with our stepped up clock speed, or our stepped up rotational speed here. I'm going to take a look at the map and try to get a feel for where we are. I think we're actually right where I want to be. Let me try. Let's see. I do have everything I need to make another gearbox. As you can tell, I have been going through gearbox materials like crazy. That is the one thing about Create that is not really so much a nuisance, but definitely like something you'll run into, is that you'll go through a bunch of gearboxes and such as you keep on keeping on. Okay, good. So this is a good place to be. Deep slate tiles. Perfect. Man, I could not have picked a better place to be, honestly. This is not bad at all. I'm going to go and take this guy real quick and put you over here as well while I'm already at it. And I'm going to sort of just dump a bunch of stuff here. But what we can do is figure out how we're going to hook this up, because we're going to want to isolate as much drainage from this system as possible. So what we might do is just break it off here. And just do that. It's not fun to do, but I think it's kind of our only option. We're gonna need a chest or a crate just to kind of put some stuff in for now, because boy howdy, is this a busy inventory we've got here. Looks like our speed upgrades fell down. That's not ideal. And what I'll do is start replacing a bunch of our materials here with better ones, because now we have a bunch of things that we can do. I know that this has been kind of all over the place, so I do apologize, but you remember we had our old crank set up over here, right? And we have a safety valve over here just in case. Well, we're not going to need this anymore. So we can get rid of that because we are going to move to a new system that is way more responsive than our old system and will not cause us to destroy our setup all the time. So I'm going to hide this system a little bit more than I did last time, just because we're not going to need to show this off. We're not going to need it to be visible. Let's see, 9 speed upgrades, that looks correct. And we're going to take our module expansion card with us, because that's going to be probably one of the biggest components. The other thing we're going to want to do, right, is upgrade all of our pipes where we can to these new reinforced ones, but I don't know really if there are that many places that we can. Maybe I jumped the gun a little bit. I think I may have jumped the gun a little bit. Let's wait to do the upgrade then. That's going to be kind of a headache to do, so let's wait to do the pipe upgrade until later. But we do still want our... let's grab this guy. We do still want this module. We just want to take that, and we're going to move it, because we're going to be producing our rotational energy over here now. Because that is, or sorry, our compressed energy, our compression, words, goodness, over here now. And what we can do is put, let's see, do I have, yes I do, put this down here just for our own protection. And we're going to put this guy down right here. And what we can do from here is hook up our air compressor. I don't know if this is going to be facing the right direction. We'll find out, I guess, right? Looks like it is. So we're running our 2 air compressors completely free. Oh, you know what? I actually did forget something very important. So let's grab that. Let's do this. I made those encased chain drives, and what we can do with this is, if I put this down correctly, we can put these down. And I keep on jumping the gun. We need our clutch somewhere. I did make the clutch, yes? Maybe? I mean, I can just make one, so that works. But what we'll do is we'll use a clutch, I keep putting down the wrong thing, to control whether or not the rotation is happening in the first place. And that is already, on its own, kind of important. From there, what we can do... I'm trying to think if there's any way to optimize this. There is. Oh, there is. There really is. We can put the clutch here. We can put our tube module right here. And you're wondering probably, well, this doesn't help. Right now it's emitting redstone, so it's going to turn that off. Well, that is where the module expansion card comes in. If I right-click this guy with the module expansion card, it now turned green, and I can right-click it to open up an interface. So now I can emit a redstone signal anytime we reach more than, let's do 4.7 bar. Right now, we are not above 4.7 bar. You can see the tube pressure is 3.89, so there is no redstone signal going to this guy right here. And of course, since this is sort of our main rotational source of energy, if I turn that off, then that means anything that comes after that in our pipeline here will also be turned off. So if I put this here, put these 2 chain drives down here, I really wish that this looked a little less clunky, but hey, I'll take it. And then we did our rotational compressors here and here. We can now begin to route ourselves, our tubes, once again, into this main tube line. So we will keep these detached for as long as humanly possible. And if I put you here, and you there, we can see that our pipe pressure is going to start going up again. So we are currently producing, looks like 2.4, 2.5 bar. And again, when we cap out at 4.7? Whoops. When we cap out at 4.7 bar, this system will shut off instantaneously. There will be 0 delay between this turning off and the redstone being emitted, because the very second that redstone gets emitted, the rotation stops, and therefore the compression stops. I am going to reroute this since I'm here, and this looks really bad. So let's do that. And that. I'm not the best at preventing things from going whoosh, but hey, that should at least clean that up a little bit. So yeah, now we have, I think, pretty much everything taken care of for our new compression setup. We are now compressing completely free of charge, and it's not the fastest setup. If we increase our boiler speed over here, we can greatly increase the other attributes and components that we're trying to improve on here. But right now, this boiler is dreadfully slow. So I'm just taking what I can get because it's free. All of it's free. So I'm not going to complain too much, but I do plan on speeding up our boiler at some point here soon. Just don't really know how I'm going to do that without going into a huge convoluted automation system. Not to say that that's a bad thing, but definitely more than I think I want to get into at the moment. So we will see exactly how convoluted I let things get, because it can get... Why on earth did you decide to rotate like that? There we go. Trying to make things look a little better around here with the create piping and stuff. But yeah, so now again, we're compressing completely for free. Looks like we're at 3.39 bar. And if I were to put any of our speed upgrades in something else now, because we have lots of other things to put them in, now that we've got all of these in excess, we can start to speed up other processes. Like, for example, our pressure chamber probably is where I'm going to put a few of these. Actually, no, sorry, it doesn't go in the pressure chamber. It goes in here, and we put another one over here. So I think that is going to call it an episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to clean up everything in the meantime and in between time. And I hope you guys have feedback and are willing to share it, because there's definitely a lot here that I could probably do a little better. So do let me know what you think. And in the meantime, I'll see you soon. Bye.